Hey everybody, Hellcracks here, and welcome back to episode 21. And today we're going to be talking about another Federated States of America ship. Actually, it's an airship. It's a PYB-2, also known as a Sea Plane. The Sea Plane is a pretty interesting little bugger. It is the same points cost as your typical light cruiser for the Federated States, so it depends if you want to spend the points on one of these things. Now, it's 45 points. It's defensive crew, just like the A-17. It means that they hit on a 5+ and defend on a 4+. So basically, they're not going to really go across and do any assaults on anybody anytime soon. All right. It is a low-flying model, so it can't get up into the upper stratosphere. So it's basically a medium flyer that just stays near the water or the ground. It has a minimum movement of 4, so it has to move 4 inches before it can make its first turn, but it can make 1 inch afterwards. It does come in squadrons of 2 to 4, so you're looking at 90 to 180 points to bring in 2 to 4 of these guys. So that's your point cost minimum to maximum. But they do kind of bring something interesting to the game. The DR and the CR is just like a cruiser, a 5 and a 6, so it can take a little bit of hit and keep on ticking. So, but if you do 6, you're going to cause some damage to these things. It does have a movement of 10, which isn't bad. It means it can cross over 1 range band a turn. Flying forward, that's not bad at all. So you can close in pretty quickly with these guys and do some good damage. Now, if they do get hit, they have 3 hull points, so they can explode, due to the fact that they do have 3. So, but, they can take at least 1 CR and 1 DR before they're eliminated. They do have 2 assault points that go with that defensive crew. So that's not really a lot, but if you have 4 of them in a squadron, that is a few assault points. So it is possible you could do a raid on some type of flyer if you want to do it, or ship or something. Each one of them has a respectable 4 ACAC, so if somebody's trying to shoot stuff at them or have small air squadrons or any type of other bombers or fighters or something of that nature coming near them, they do have some good firepower to do some ACAC shots at somebody. So that's not something to overlook. It does have 2 CC, I guess, if he has some floating mines or something nearby. It's kind of like mostly a placeholder, because they're flying. Who's going to shoot anything that can hit them with torpedoes? They can't. The ram rating is 2, so if you by chance bump into somebody, throw 2 dice at them, which is not really a lot. Now, the main weapon system on board these guys are the 4 rocket batteries, tertiary weapons that go out to 3 range bands. So, like any type of weapon systems with the Federated States, are best in range band 3, so that's your sweet point. Now, model assigned rules. It has Hunter, aerial, rockets. So it's the only weapon systems they have. So anybody that is flying around them can be shot with the rockets. Lots of rockets. So yeah, you hit somebody, you're going to hit them on 3. So the odds are these guys can do some good damage against anybody that's flying. So they pretty much are kind of like the Lees when it comes to that. I think the Lees, if I remember right, had the aerial hunter broadside. So the broadside with them, not with the rockets. So these guys are the guys that have the rocket batteries that shoot forward with them. So you're looking at something like that nature. Somebody's going to shoot ACAC at the rockets trying to knock them down, but the odds are you're going to hit with a lot more of them on a 3+. And what's not to dislike about that? Okay, it does have momentum just like the A-17, so if you have to hit them with a motive hit where they have to, they lose the capability of flight, like movement, they'll spin in and auger into the ocean or land and be destroyed. Then they have spotter, 16 inches. So anybody that's within 16 inches, they can spot. So if you have anybody's indirect, you can basically fly these guys around and say, hey, I spot this unit for you within 16. And then you have the big guns with the battleships and cruisers and stuff like that, if they have that, to be able to shoot indirectly and hit the target. But, not very often I've ever used it. Now, the 4 rocket batteries go out to range band 3, so 24 inches. So you have 6. Now, that is 6 with the first one, and then you're going to add, if you have a squadron of 4, and why not, you're looking at another 6 times 3 is 18, half of 18 is 9, so you're looking at 15 dice. 4 of these little guys will toss out 15 dice, and if it happens to be a flyer, anybody that's in the air, 15 dice hitting on 3s, yeah, that's a lot of hits. You're going to be ripping through stuff pretty quickly, and being that they're pretty mobile, with a speed of 10, you can usually put these guys on a flank and get in there and get out pretty quickly. All right. Now, another interesting thing with these guys is that if you add 5 more points, so let's say you put the model sign rule pinpoint rockets, so you're hitting on 3s and it's pinpoint. What that does is, with pinpoint model assigned rules, if you get a CR, and the odds are you're going to get a CR, with the number of hits you're probably going to get on a 3+ on a D6, when you roll your crit, let's say you roll a 7. Well, I don't like the 7, so you can add 1 to that result and make it an 8. So you can look at it, and it's like you look at the crit hit table, for, let's say you did roll a 7, you could cause somebody to have engine failure, and or let's say if you rolled a 9, it's like, well, I'm not really caring about the nav lock, but I can add 1 to it and cause chaos and disarray. So basically causing their tertiary weapons, deploy mines, and any other boarding actions and stuff like that to be negated, so they can't do it. Or let's just say you really like it, you get hit somebody and hit them with a fusion leak, causing D3 corrosion hits. Or if you didn't want to do the corrosion hits, you can always get a sturgeon flare and cause them to teleport. Now, the one that I wouldn't add 1 to is like, hey, I rolled snake eyes. I'm keeping the snake eyes because I want to watch them blow up, type of deal. So it's one of those things where you look at it and go, hey, you know what? If I can add 1 and move it, that gives you an option of this crit or that crit. So you roll it, say what you want. You're like, oh, okay, I could have this one or that one, and I like what I can do with this one, so I'll pick that one instead. So it gives you some options for 5 points per model. That's kind of nice. Now, if by chance you get a target that is in range band 2, which is 5 dice per model, so yeah, if you have 4 of them, that's 5 plus 15, half of 15 is 8. Yeah, you round up. So you're looking at 13 dice, so yeah, it's like 15, 13, and then 10. So that's pretty good, especially if it's an aerial target. The odds are, let's say if you do roll 15 dice at somebody and it's an aerial target, you hit on 3s, and the odds are 4 out of the 15, you're going to have probably, let's see, 4, let's say 4 or 5 of them miss. That's 10 hits minimum. And there's going to be a few 6s in there. Because typically, if you roll 15 dice, you're going to have probably 2, maybe 3 6s in there. So you add, that's going to be probably 13 hits on somebody. And that's enough to really do a major number on any type of flyer out there, even if it's a heavy flying sky fortress. And with those 6s, you're going to re-roll again and add even more. So you can even do up to 16, 18, maybe 20, depends on how many 6s you get in there. But if it's a surface target, okay, then it's just rockets going in against that target. Then it becomes something different. And then you're only hitting on 4. So that's basically out of the 15. Odds are you're going to probably hit with 8. Have at least 8, maybe 10 hits that add up together. So that's not bad. Not bad at all. And that's enough to do damage to cruisers, even battleships. And if you did a 10 to 12, that's enough to do a CR on most battleships and dreadnoughts. So it's a pretty good little bugger. Now, the one drawback with these guys is that they have the 4 rocket batteries are tertiary, so they can shoot right into the first range band with no problem. But they are fixed for, so basically you look at the width of the base that the flying stand of the model's on, and that's a channel, so it's fixed forwards. It's not like a 90-degree arc like some other stuff. It is, you draw a line, aim up on your target, and then just, you have to aim at your target. So you have to think about how you're moving your stuff to begin with. So you see your target, you know where you want to go, and then try to angle it in on them. So it takes a little bit of thought process when it comes to playing with these guys. Now, typically when I do play with them, like I said, most flyers I prefer to throw up on the flanks and kind of angle in towards my targets one way or the other. It's like, okay, let's say they have some frigates and corvettes would probably be your first targets you're going to shoot at with the rocket batteries, unless there's some type of flyer that pops itself up. And then you're going to go hunting. It's like primary target, or hunt down any flyers. And if you have no flyer to shoot at, then you go have surface target. Say that 10 times fast. But I'll try to angle in and try to keep it as you're angling across, to keep my targets within the 3rd range band, because that's your sweet spot with these guys, is the 3rd range band. So basically 17 to 24 inches in that zone. But until you run out of targets like that, then you start moving into 2nd and maybe even the 1st range band. But being flyers, they can shoot over targets that are on the water. So it's like, I don't care if your battleship is trying to screen for, let's say, your surface carrier or something of that nature. It may be wounded. Okay, I'm going to shoot right over top of you anyway. So there you go. And being rockets, they can shoot over top of other surface targets. A different matter if it is torpedoes. Like we were talking about the A-17 before. They have 4 torpedoes, so they can drop their fish in the water at 3rd range band, but they will hit the first target that is in that arc. So you can't shoot over top or under targets. It's like the first thing that's in range that is your target. Rockets, on the other hand, will shoot over top of them. But that is it. That is the PYB-2 Sea Plane. Very nice little aircraft. I like them. I've used them before. I wish I could have more of them, or had some of them, but I sold them off, sadly, in a commission, and I never did pick up any more. Okay, that is it. Hope you guys like, subscribe, and share with all your friends, and I will see you in the next one. Hellcracks out.